maybe the big wisdom I learned lately is that a lot of people want a lot of things, but like, what are you willing to give up for that? And I hate that you have to give up something for it, but like, are you willing to give up money? Are you willing to give up time? Are you willing to give up like hanging out with this person you really like? You know what I mean? Yeah.
What's up, Rice Cooker? We are here today with Aaron, my good friend, but everybody knows Aaron as another name, which is Groovy Kaiju.
Yeah, that's me. That's what I go by.
Tell me where Groovy Kaiju came from, even if it includes a cease and desist.
Yeah. So it started off in college. I was living with my college roommate. You know Daniel? They do merch at Crystal Nostalgia.
Merch Danny.
Yeah, merch Danny.
I always tell people, like, merch Danny. I was like, tell them you're a human being. You're so much more than merch. Yeah. But you were with it was your roommate?
Yeah, we were roommates at college. We worked together for like 5 years. But their original, like, I was trying to workshop names with them. And they were like, you like Godzilla and you're making future funk. Why not Groovy Godzilla? And I was like, that's it. That's the one.
You had the alliteration at the time.
Exactly, yeah. So then as the years go on, as I got more serious about my music and things were going, I was like, this probably isn't going to work out in the long term. So let me just switch it to Groovy Kaiju.
You're all, Toho can't find out about this. Yeah, exactly. I like them too much.
I knew things were getting real scary because every time a Godzilla movie would come out, my sales would spike. So I was like, okay, this is maybe a little too close.
Oh, so you're getting picked up in the natural SEO of the world.
Exactly. So I was like, we're getting close. So let me switch it before it gets too dangerous.
For anybody who doesn't know, what is future funk and how did you get into it?
Oh yeah. Future funk is a subgenre of vaporwave, if you want to call it that. Vaporwave is like slowed down 80s music, very DJ Screw inspired, but from the internet. It's kind of like an art movement almost. And then future funk is doing the opposite of slowing it down and speeding it up. It's now kind of evolved into like more French house, but also like soul stuff. A lot of like jazz. Future funk, it's very vague and wide. It's grown as genres do. And I got into it just from being on the internet, watching YouTube videos and scrolling across it, going on BandCamp, looking for new music. And I was like, oh, this is dope. And I was making hip hop beats at the time, and I was like, let me try this.
Oh, tell people about your hip-hop identity, which some other people may know you more from that like aspect of production.
Yeah, possibly.
So tell us about your other personality.
Yeah, I also go by Aviscerall. I do a lot of like hip-hop beats there. I've been doing that for like 14 years now, I think. Oh, man. Yeah, been doing that for like 14 years. So yeah, and I did a lot of hip-hop beats, very like Nujabes inspired. Before like lo-fi hip-hop was a thing, I've been making lo-fi hip-hop and like other experimental stuff too, like in the hip-hop realm. But for the most part, I do that as well. Been making beats like once a month for that. And it also does pretty nice. Like, it does nice numbers, and people like it. And funnily enough, there is like some crossover where I'll tell like the Groovy Kaiju fans, hey, I also like this. And sometimes it'll be like, I like this more than the stuff I found you from. So that's kind of funny. But yeah.
I mean, it happens. The Spotify gods have been very good to you.
Yeah.
I know you a lot more from the Aviscerall stuff. And it was one of those things where I had known of Aviscerall and Groovy Kaiju and had never maybe put it together that it was the same person.
Yeah.
But again, it was from the divine blessings of the Spotify gods that I found you. And which I think most people are finding you through.
Yeah, that or the free CD thing I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, the free CD thing is pretty wild. It does the thing.
But so I encountered you and I met you in person after the pandemic because the vaporwave scene was a really great scene to be a part of during the pandemic. It was so ritualistic to like a virtual memory was going on. Like, all right, let's get some snacks. Mm-hmm. Let's pack a bowl. Let's sit here at this computer with the bassiest speakers I have. And like, that was the vibe during, I get very nostalgic. And I've talked to Frank about this before. Sometimes I get nostalgic for the days where we were all just couch rotting together. Yeah. And we would just play Animal Crossing and we would get in our little Twitch streams and do our things. But it was such a good community building. And sorry, the cat is talking to me. But it was good community building. And then I finally met you at a live taping of a virtual memory. That was at For the Music? Is that
FTG,
what it's called?
For the Good.
For the Good. Mm-hmm. That's like Santa Ana-ish. So that's when I started meeting people. And it was so weird because I had everybody that I had been chatting with, joking with, being an absolute fucking weirdo with in a chat room, I was slowly meeting them in person. That was one of the events. And then the tape swap in Brooklyn was also one of the events where it was like, humans are real.
Yeah.
You know, that was like 2022, I think, I want to say. So it's been really awesome knowing you, working with you, getting booked on the same bills as you. And I wanted to take a minute to like also talk about doing a live event after pandemic. Tell me about what Crystal Nostalgia is, what it is to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it is to me? Honestly, it started off as me just being like, hey, the pandemic was really good. I started a free CD thing. Marketing was looking real nice. I was like, I want a place to like meet all these people that are like finding my music and like play music for them. And then I started working with Tyler, and Tyler was at the time like starting to do more full-time visual work. So we were like, hey, we're both in this space where like we kind of want to find more like community spaces to do both of our arts and stuff. And I was like, why not just do it ourselves? So it's started off honestly as like a fun experiment of like, oh, it'll be a cool place to like meet people who like my music and like just hang out with my friends and play music. And it evolved into this really like amazing community of people that come like almost every time, or they rotate through when they can make it, and like everyone knows each other. It's become like a nice training ground for people to like go off and do bigger shows. It's like, it means a lot to me, honestly, but it's become like a community in like an internet music community space, but in person almost. Yeah.
I agree. I think, and it's so funny, like someone was asking about like city pop events and stuff like that. And both me and someone else were like totally like on threads, like, you got to go to Crystal Nostalgia. You got to check this out if you're looking for that. So it was just one of those things where like when your friends are recommending it, like that's dope. It's something they don't feel obligated to. It's something they believe in. It's like a community that they're in.
Exactly.
And I will say this too, like the vaporwave scene comes with, it's weird. Vaporwave is very much like an artistic meme study of consumerism in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And I think it means something different to different people. And as a person of color, when I look at it, I am laughing at the way we only marketed to white folks.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that to everybody, though. Yeah. And I bring that up because you and Tyler in the past have been very conscious of building rosters that are far more diverse than I've ever seen at a vaporwave city pop show. And I'm thankful for it, but I wanted to give you credit for that because I don't think people promoting club nights and things like that are considering that at all. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something we've kept in mind. Honestly, it came from kind of like if I may, from some of my tech background where I've seen that same, like, not problem, well, maybe it's a problem, I don't know, but the same issue or acknowledgement maybe of just like it being very white male dominated, and like how do they like, intelligently and like ethically and like really think about where they're not just like, oh, we'll pull them up because they look like this or because they have this identity, but how do you really like make space and let people say what they have to say? Because a lot of times, like, there's a lot of the power that comes from diversity. I don't know, anyone watching, if you watch, I read the book, Making the Game, Building the Game by Reggie Fils-Aimé. My president, the old president of Nintendo. And they have
Reggie.
Reggie. They have
the My Body is Ready guy.
Yeah, the My Body is Ready guy. And I read that book, and he has a whole section about how important it is as a leader to like promote diversity, because you get so much new ideas. Like, and if you think, I'm going to ramble, but
I love it. If
you think about it, a lot of like art is just taking every lived experience you've ever have and then putting that to solve the problem of what do I put on this blank canvas. And if you only get the same lived experience over and over, you're not going to get new engaging art for everyone. So you have to kind of like take the step to make sure, okay, am I getting this lived experience? Am I getting this lived experience? And let's bring it to the forefront so we have more diversified art to enjoy. So it's not just like because it makes me feel good, but like I want to see more good art that like maybe doesn't always get out there. And
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny because you brought in like a little bit of your background with interpreting data, basically. But I think what a lot of people might not know is that you're like low-key a coding genius, and I don't throw that around. You had told me a story, and please help me get this straight because I don't want to mess this story up. You were in school at Cal State Long Beach, and somebody got on you for not completing an assignment in one of your coding classes, and it was like irrelevant for you, but I can't exactly remember how or why.
And not to be full of myself, but just more like I'd already be working on coding stuff at night. So I was like pretty much teaching myself everything the class was going to teach me. But I was like 3 years ahead of like learning. And another good example of that, maybe not in class, but like once I was interviewing for a job and I made a public project and someone tried to get the same job I was applying for by saying, oh, look at this public project. I've been playing around with it. And then after the interview, they told the guy, we're also interviewing the guy of that public project you're trying to like show off that like you're contributing to. So they were like, yeah. So it's happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So similar stories have happened a lot of times.
What draws you to the coding aspect of the universe?
I mean, honestly, even just with art in general, it's just another way to like express yourself. Maybe like the actual art of writing the code isn't. It's fun because it's like solving many problems, but so it's like solving a Rubik's Cube over and over. But really, at the end of the day, I just like making cool stuff. So that's what kind of the engineering and the coding came from, was just like, I want to make cool apps and games and stuff. It's just like I want to make cool music. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of
videos.
influence, like video game nostalgia too.
Yeah.
I mean, just the stuff you use in your set, Yoshi samples, Godzilla samples.
Yeah.
What is your like? What's your top like 2-3 like nostalgia franchises that are deep in your heart?
Yeah. Probably Kingdom Hearts, one of them. I don't know why. Something about Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I should have included it in this. Oh,
yeah, because if you space a game out 13 years per installment, you're gonna keep an audience.
That's exactly. Yeah. So probably that. Lately it's been a lot of Sega. I don't know why I'm having a big Sega resurgence. Like Sonic Adventure, I've liked. Yeah, and maybe you said 2 or 3, just because it's coming to mind. Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a very specific.
Yeah.
Budokai,
yeah, I played a lot of Budokai as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird if you get in. Like I'm far older than you, so there was a Ranma 1/2 Nintendo Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It was it played like a Neo Geo Fatal Fury type of game, not like a Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And like that was like one of my favorite fighting games. Looking back on it now, I actually think it's like a really bad fighting engine.
Yeah.
But I just loved it so much. And like, yeah, sometimes there's just a thing that you love and it's like a flavor you have to taste again. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'll even boot up Sonic Adventure in my living room every once in a while just to like see the Chow Garden again in person.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like that's, we were talking about vaporwave stuff earlier. Vaporwave is a hard thing to describe to people because you will either sound incredibly pretentious or like a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Like, why are you dedicating so much time to PlayStation 1 covers only? Like, why is Jet Set Radio your identity? Like, so but but I think it's one of those things. I always talk about this, especially with nerd media, when you look at things that are like hero stories. Like, religion is based on mythology, and these are new mythologies. So when people don't understand why they get death threats for saying something bad about Captain America, like, understand, like, we're designed, like, and through hundreds of thousands of years, just designed to defend our heroes, sort of. And so that's why the aspect of like fandom that I think people don't think about a lot. It's like, at the end of the day, is religion not just fandom? Like, is it not fandom for Jesus? I don't know. Maybe it is. So we're getting tattoos. We're like talking about it every Sunday. But yeah, that's kind of a part of it that I like too, is just seeing people's fandoms taken into like an artistic space. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, same. I mean, all of our friends are like, that's essentially what we're all doing. And I think the question of like why vaporwave, I think it's just a generational thing. Like, if you look at like rock and roll, that's a lot of like anger and aggression, or I guess definitely like metal. And like, we've kind of gone through a lot of emotions, like soul's a lot of love, you know what I mean? And I think now it's just like, since we've evolved as a species, we're at like, now we can get more complex emotions like nostalgia. What's the music that invokes nostalgia? Because to my knowledge, I haven't seen much of that beforehand, or that be the goal of the music.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know. I think it's just like nostalgia's time for art.
I also think that in the 80s and 90s, when I was growing up, we were we were made to believe that if you were a rapper, you were really a gang member. You were really sleeping with all of those women in the music video. You were really like the guy that sleeps with a gun under his pillow because you said so in a rap. And one of the things that I like about these more like artistic like subgenres of music is that we refuse to take it so seriously. Like, there's no way you're really going to believe that I'm a video game, you know? So, and I feel like that's where we're evolving. And like these music forms evolve because we're literally like running from the cops. Like the YouTube copyright police are going to shut down a channel or block or mute your stuff if you just play a song from the 80s. But if you speed it up, they won't catch you. If you slow it down, they won't catch you. So out of running from just wanting to post the songs we like, we created new music genres that celebrate that. And I think in a way put up a big middle finger to people trying to police music. Like it's in the air. You're going to police it. Like it's in my memory. Are you going to police my memories every time I remember a song? Am I going to get charged? Like, so yeah, that's an aspect I like about the sampling aspect of what you do too.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I think I agree totally. A lot of music does come from like the limitations. Like a lot of people these days sometimes will complain like, why is music so short now? And it's like, well, think about it the other way. Why was it so long back in the day? And it's like, well, if you have a vinyl record, it can only fit 40 minutes of music on it. And why come up with 10 different song ideas when you can just come up with like 3 and have side A, side B be just 3 really long songs, and then, you know what I mean? And there you go, sell the record.
Or you're a house DJ and you need 2 minutes of a hi-hat to sync the record so it flows into the next record. Like that's why the club mixes were 7 and 8 minutes. Yeah. So you could have 2 minutes of mixing on each end and still have like a 5-minute song in the middle. Yeah. But now we loop everything. Songs are 2 minutes long because of YouTube and because of our attention spans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know,
so it's just out of like, and it is our attention spans, but also just the platforms encourage it, like the internet platform. So it is a bit of us, but it's also just the means at which it's distributed, just like how the means it was distributed back in the day. So it's like
our desire for that consumption is so high now. We need the song to be 2 minutes.
True.
Because I want to consume 3 in the time it used to take me to listen to 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the questions I always like to ask, and I get the most interesting responses, was if you weren't doing the thing or the things that you're doing right now in terms of, it could be hobby, it could be career, what would you be doing if you weren't a producer who also loves code?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I would say skating, but actually I hurt my back recently, so I think my body's just not built for it. I kind of have to I'm slowly, as the years go on, just getting more and more used to the fact that my hamstrings were just born too short. So, yeah, I mean, so I guess, probably skating around like professionally or just for fun.
It could be anything.
Yeah, just anything. Then probably skating. I'd probably figure
What
out
if you
some
could be
way.
like a skate influencer? You're not the best, the best, healthiest hamstrings in the world.
Yeah,
but you find an interesting way to do content, and then skating could be your life.
Yeah, that would totally 100. I'm actually thinking about maybe trying to do that with my music stuff.
I mean, add it in. Look at what I'm doing. I'm doing a whole video production thing, attaching it to my DJing because that's my other job.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, probably skating, and if not like skating, probably like working a skate shop. Working at some like skate company doing graphic design. I don't know. I'm not a graphic designer, but I could probably figure it out. You know what I mean?
I'm sure if you watched like you're the type that you will watch 2 YouTube videos and then be on Fiverr making an extra $500 a day.
Yeah. So yeah, something like that.
I like to ask also. There's a lot of people. You are so welcoming with the way that you program at Crystal Nostalgia, and I see it, but like you have inspired this mini army of like future funk devotees. You know, we meet a lot of young DJs, young producers. If they ask you for advisement, what are the sort of things you tell them?
Yeah, it depends on what their goals are. That's like a huge part of it, because the thing maybe the big wisdom I learned lately is that a lot of people want a lot of things. But, like, what are you willing to give up for that? And I hate that you have to give up something for it, but, like, are you willing to give up money? Are you willing to give up time? Are you willing to give up like hanging out with this person you really like? You know what I mean?
That's a good way to pose it.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, if you're good at something or if something good in your life is going on, to just always remember that magic always comes at a price.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just like RPG, if you cast a spell, you lost a little mana.
Yeah.
Maybe you can take some of your healing bar, your health bar, and put it in and things like that. But there are no magic potions in our world, so yeah, it does require a certain amount of sacrifice. But yeah, I like the idea of you pose them or challenge them with, is it money? Is it time? Is it passion? Is it community?
Yeah.
Some people are really great at different things.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're not the I don't like telling people, hey, you're not a DJ, go get another job. But I will. No.
Yeah.
But in our community, we need the organizers, we need the producers, we need the designers and the artists. So it's kind of like the internet meme, like, stop, we need more surgeons, not DJs.
Yeah.
But we need that to all like support like what we're doing. And as a person who was very cocky and made a lot of mistakes starting up this channel, yeah, like I very much respect that it is taking a great deal of sacrifice for me to like do this, but also you guys sacrifice an afternoon to come here too, and so it's a good way to put it, like, to ask what someone's goal is. Simple.
Yeah, what your goal is, because then because to your exact point, if someone's looking for more community, you don't have to be a DJ to do that. You could be a photographer and do that. You'd probably meet a ton of people all the time and make lots of friends just being like, hey, I took a photo of you, here you go. And that might be it. Or maybe it is you just want to dance more. It's like, you can go to the show and dance. And like, if you come often enough, you could be like, hey man, like, can you like throw me a discount on tickets or something? I'm sure the organizer would be like, yeah, or something. You know what I mean? Figure it out. Or like, maybe you already make art and like maybe your space, you provide a lot of value by just like vending at the show or something. Yeah, there's lots of like different avenues. So it depends on what they want. It's hard to answer that. That being said though, if you are somebody who's just now starting, I wouldn't be afraid of failure, because it takes a couple L's to spell millions, right?
Yo.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, I think getting a good mindset around failure is good, because honestly, sometimes I get excited to fail. It's weird, because like the thing is, every time you fail, it's only really a failure if you don't learn from it.
If you don't do the next good thing, right?
If you take an L and like you're just getting started, you take an L. As long as you write it down, understand why it didn't go the way you wanted and what you're going to do better next time, then that's a huge success, honestly. Because then next time you go into it, then you're going to be just so much smarter and already know what's going on. And you times that by like 1,000 L's, then it's going to be like you could just sleep out W's, because like you already know the whole like what works and what doesn't. Yeah. So I would be like, try to fail at a small scale as often as you can, and then go and do the thing you want. You know what I mean?
I had an
fail. That's my advice. Fail.
honestly though, fail all the time. When I was in art school, I had a teacher who always started the semester by telling us, you have 10,000 bad drawings inside of you. So the sooner you get to getting the bad drawings out of your system, the closer you get to like your mastery level. And that was like a really good way of thinking about it. Like if I failed at something, I'm just a little closer. I was just getting that done. I was just getting that failure done. But yeah, that is a good perspective to have.
And to that point too, I'd still also want to reemphasize, like, make sure you take the time to realize why you failed. Yeah, because I feel like there's probably 10,000 bad drawings, but if you like always take a step, take the time to like realize why you failed at that drawing, you probably only have to do 1,000 of those 10,000.
Maybe.
To then get to the in my opinion. But yeah,
or get to the W's a little sooner.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So
this has been awesome.
Yeah,
the time flew, right?
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
All right. I want to say thank you to Groovy Kaiju, and give us your socials.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place. Just go to groovykaiju.com. It has everything there. That's the easiest way.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you for blessing the rice cooker. I always tell everybody the rice cooker is a save point. Fast travel back whenever you want.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. All right. See y'all next time.
Later, y'all.
Whew.
High five. Boom. Yay.